In early 2024, Laura Wilson found herself balancing public speaking engagements and the expanding responsibilities of her family farm when an unforeseen crisis struck. A devastating accident on the family's Nebraska property left the patriarch, Cale Carlson, critically injured, forcing the five-generation farm into immediate operational uncertainty. Planting schedules halted, contracts wavered, and staff faced unclear guidance. Overnight, Laura was thrust into a leadership role that demanded decisiveness, resilience, and strategic thinking. The farm, rooted in over a century of family tradition, depended heavily on Cale's technical expertise. His sudden absence exposed vulnerabilities in operations, machinery oversight, and workforce management. For Laura, this moment was more than a professional challenge. It was a test of stewardship, legacy, and vision. The coming months would redefine her role and reshape the farm's future, transforming a near tragedy into a story of innovation and resilience. The accident that shattered routine. The incident occurred in March 2024 at the farm's equipment repair facility in Hamilton County, Nebraska. Cale Carlson, the family's legal owner and central technical leader, suffered severe injuries while inspecting a mechanized harvester. Immediate medical attention at Grand Island Medical Center was required, and the recovery would extend for months. The sudden loss of Cale's daily involvement left a critical void. Machinery maintenance, planting timelines, and workforce coordination, all integral to a seamless spring season, were disrupted. The farm had grown over generations to rely on informal knowledge transfer and personal oversight, leaving few redundancies in place. In just hours, what began as an isolated accident escalated into a structural crisis, forcing urgent decisions. The experience underscored how fragile even long-standing systems can be when overdependence on a single expert meets unforeseen emergencies. Spring planting. Timing is everything. Spring. Planting in the Midwest demands precision. Even small delays can dramatically impact yields. The Wilson family's 2,000-acre farm, focused on corn and soybeans with livestock components, depended on carefully coordinated schedules and equipment efficiency. Cale Carlson's expertise in machinery repair, crop planning, and operational logistics was critical. With him incapacitated, Laura and her husband, Grant, assumed full operational responsibility, navigating equipment leases, vendor communications, and workforce oversight. Early assessments revealed projected yields would drop nearly 18% compared to the previous year, emphasizing the high stakes. Adjustments in procedures, timing, and resource allocation were unavoidable. The crisis revealed the challenges of transitioning from informal family-led operations to a system requiring broader accountability. Laura's ability to adapt, prioritize, and communicate became the linchpin for maintaining continuity amid a rapidly unfolding agricultural emergency. Financial ripples across the farm ecosystem. The operational disruption triggered immediate financial consequences. Contracts for seed delivery were delayed, machinery service agreements renegotiated, and crop distribution arrangements wavered. Lenders demanded updated forecasts, forcing the family to provide detailed plans while securing additional operational funding. Outsourcing equipment maintenance increased costs, and reduced projected yields strained cash flow. Laura addressed private stakeholders transparently, acknowledging the setback while outlining structural reforms to restore confidence. Maintaining credibility within Nebraska's closely connected agricultural community became as crucial as salvaging the season. Every communication carried weight, as reputational trust influenced vendor partnerships, labor retention, and long-term contract negotiations. Financial survival required decisive action paired with openness, underscoring a shift from reliance on personal reputation to structured, verifiable management practices. The incident highlighted how operational crises can cascade into multi-layered financial and relational challenges, demanding leadership that integrates strategy, communication, and accountability. Safety as a cornerstone of modern farming. In June 2024, Laura publicly addressed the accident for the first time at a regional agricultural conference, framing it as a turning point for the family and the industry. Mechanized agriculture is inherently risky, yet formalized safety standards and maintenance protocols are inconsistently applied, particularly in family-run operations. The accident revealed a systemic vulnerability. Experience alone could not guarantee safety. Generational knowledge transfer, previously sufficient, was inadequate in the face of complex machinery and tight operational schedules. Laura emphasized that resilient farms require structured safety practices alongside technical expertise. Her message resonated broadly, highlighting a critical need for formalized protocols, training programs, and preventive measures. The crisis catalyzed a cultural shift in the farm's approach, emphasizing that survival and productivity are inseparable from safety, planning, and oversight. It became clear that resilience must be proactive, not merely reactive. Restructuring operations for reliability. Following the accident, the farm embarked on a comprehensive operational restructuring. Independent contractors were hired to oversee machinery, reducing dependence on individual family members. Professional safety consultants reviewed equipment maintenance, traffic patterns, and emergency protocols. Mandatory training sessions ensured workers at all levels understood procedures and safety standards. Compliance oversight by state agricultural organizations reinforced accountability. The goal was systemic transformation rather than temporary fixes. Checklists, standardized reporting, and audit routines replaced informal procedures, ensuring continuity even if a key individual was unavailable. By decentralizing responsibilities, the farm created redundancy and clarity, mitigating the risk of future disruptions. This transformation highlighted a broader lesson. Modern agricultural management requires formalized structures that integrate safety, operational efficiency, and workforce accountability. The farm began evolving from a tradition-based operation into a systemically resilient enterprise, a century of generational perseverance. Understanding the farm's history clarifies the depth of the crisis. Founded in 1910 by Laura's Swedish immigrant great-grandfather in Marquette, Nebraska, the farm began with just a few dozen acres. Over 5 generations, it expanded into a diversified ecosystem, integrating row crops, livestock, and advanced mechanization. Cale Carlson represented the 4th generation, pioneering digital communication and educational outreach alongside traditional operations. The farm embodies both continuity and adaptation, balancing heritage with innovation. The accident threatened not only seasonal production, but the symbolic continuity of family stewardship. Preserving the farm required honoring its legacy while embracing systemic modernization. For Laura, leadership became a matter of safeguarding identity as well as output, blending respect for tradition with the foresight needed to navigate modern challenges. The episode underscored the fragility of generational systems reliant on individual expertise and highlighted the importance of structured succession planning. Early foundations in leadership, Laura Wilson's preparedness stemmed from years of hands-on experience. Eldest of 5 siblings, she managed her own small cattle herd by age 13, including budgeting, performance tracking, and independent problem-solving. Later, she pursued business administration and applied agricultural science, complementing practical knowledge with analytical skills. By 2023, Laura oversaw a 160-acre demonstration tract equipped with advanced irrigation, soil analytics, and crop monitoring systems, positioning her as an eventual farm successor. These experiences provided the foundation for decisive crisis leadership when Cale was incapacitated. Laura's combination of technical competence, operational insight, and strategic vision allowed her to assume responsibility effectively. Her early exposure to autonomous management, combined with formal education, created a skill set uniquely suited to navigating a multi-generational agricultural emergency, bridging tradition with modernized, data-driven operational practices. Digital evolution in agriculture. Since 2020, Laura had cultivated a public presence that blended education, transparency, and innovation. Through real-time documentation of planting, machinery operations, and farm management, she educated broader audiences while generating supplemental revenue. This visibility amplified her influence and accountability during the crisis, as the farm's response was observed by both local stakeholders and national audiences. Her approach demonstrated a new model, the hybrid agri-entrepreneur, integrating media engagement with production expertise. Public scrutiny increased pressure, but also created opportunities for leadership demonstration. Laura leveraged digital tools to communicate status updates, coordinate logistics, and provide transparency during an unpredictable season. Her media experience highlighted how modern agricultural leadership requires not only technical and operational acumen, but also public-facing communication, stakeholder engagement, and narrative control during emergencies. Community support and collective resilience. The farm's survival was bolstered by community mobilization. Local authorities arranged temporary labor grants and partial tax relief for equipment, while neighboring farmers shared machinery and storage. Religious organizations provided emotional support, and siblings returned from school or employment to assist operations. Medical logistics and rehabilitation were coordinated domestically by Megan Carlson, ensuring that Cale's recovery could proceed efficiently. Recognizing the shared vulnerability of agricultural households, Laura helped establish a voluntary peer support network, connecting over 300 participants online to share resources, guidance, and emotional support. This communal response highlighted a critical dimension of resilience. Coordinated support networks enhance both operational and psychological capacity during crises. The farm's recovery became a model for regional agricultural crisis management, demonstrating how collective action can amplify individual leadership and mitigate the impact of unexpected disruptions. Modernizing for the future. By 2025, the Wilson Farm formalized a new leadership structure. Grant oversaw mechanized operations and maintenance, while Laura directed strategic coordination, safety, and communications. New hires included mechanical technicians and a crop data analyst, strengthening redundancy. Advanced precision agriculture technologies, such as satellite monitoring and ground sensors, enabled real-time tracking of soil, pest, and machinery conditions. Operational risk maps identified high-traffic zones and equipment maintenance intervals, transforming reactive problem-solving into preventative strategy. The farm evolved into a modern, data-informed system capable of sustaining production even amid uncertainty. The crisis prompted the integration of technology, process, and accountability, establishing a framework that balanced productivity, safety, and legacy preservation. The farm transitioned from an experience-driven family operation into a formally structured, resilient enterprise capable of withstanding future disruptions. Education and policy leadership. Recognizing broader industry implications, Laura launched a regional safety initiative in February 2025. Partnering with nonprofits, equipment manufacturers, and academic institutions, the program provided machinery maintenance, emergency response, and safety workshops. Within months, over 1,000 participants, including young farmers and agricultural students, benefited from structured training. Research collaborations with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln produced insights integrating automated soil analytics with safety metrics. A white paper on crisis recovery strategies circulated widely, establishing the farm as both practitioner and educator. Laura later joined a U.S. Department of Agriculture task force focused on modernizing small and mid-sized farm management, emphasizing non-financial risk mitigation, worker safety, and continuity planning. Her leadership extended beyond the farm, reinforcing that operational resilience and safety are critical components of sustainable agricultural policy and practice. Conclusion: resilience defined through action. The accident that imperiled the family farm ultimately revealed its deepest strengths. Tradition provided roots, technology supplied tools, community offered support, and leadership delivered vision. Laura Wilson stepped into crisis not merely as a successor, but as a steward, blending strategic oversight with empathy and foresight. Through restructuring, formalized procedures, and educational initiatives, the farm emerged more resilient and prepared for future challenges. Its story underscores how effective crisis management requires coordination, redundancy, transparency, and community engagement. The Wilson Farm's evolution demonstrates that true strength is not declared. It is practiced, measured by the capacity to transform adversity into sustainable renewal. In navigating operational, financial, and human challenges, Laura's leadership exemplifies how modern farms can preserve legacy while embracing innovation, safety, and resilience.